Hello everyone and welcome to today's analysis video. It's been a while, it's been a long while, but then again there hasn't been a whole lot of tournaments going on. We're back for PGS qualifiers, in this case the European side of things, or the, I guess, EMEA side of things. And yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be 18 games in total spread over 3 days. They're going on right now, so if you're watching this video as it just came out, then this is the weekend. The 7th, the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th are the dates where the games are played, of March 2020. So so do make sure to hop on over. I'll throw a link in the description below, so you guys can see exactly how things go down and where they go down. But yeah, 3 games, or 3 days, 6 games per day. Pretty straightforward format. Only difference is that there's no finals. It's literally just these 3 days, and the top 6 out of these 24 teams will make it through. So it's a little different. It's a little different as to how it normally is, because you'd have this format followed by a final tournament where 16 teams fight for 6 spots. But this is literally all 24 teams fighting over these 3 days. Well, I guess 2 days, because they only get to play 2 of the 3 for those 6 spots. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. It's been a while. Maybe I'm a little wonky with the whole analysis tool, but let's see. Let's see anyway. Let's see how it goes. Let's hop on in. Game will start, I hope. There we go. Plane is in the sky. We'll just fast forward a little bit. Pretty straightforward plane. I mean, I know where most of the teams like to loot. And having a plane going across like this, you can stretch it to Pozo if you're desperate. You can, which would be a Sauna Boys thing. They could probably go out here and then go get vehicles. As long as Navi don't go looting up here, they could just stretch it over the top, go get vehicles, go to Pozo. Looking at this plane, I mean, everything is pretty much accessible. Everything is pretty much accessible. Let me just link that in chat so people can see it. Boop. There you go. Everything is pretty much accessible with this plane. There really isn't a whole lot to it. As we can see, Tornado Energy, they'll stretch out. YMCA, they're the ones over here. I was just gonna say Sauna Boys, they even playing? Oh, they're not playing. They're not playing today. That's what it is. In any case, these are your teams playing. I think for the most part you would know all of them. Blaze, Liquid, Etiquette, Adepts, Omarken, 7, Inside Games, Diamond Dogs, Exalt, TSM, Unity, Phantom, Windstreak 15, YMCA, Tornado Energy. Pretty straightforward. I think you know most of them, if not all of them. If you've been watching the scrims lately, you will know all of the teams. But anyway, it is the first game of the tournament, which means that this is the game where teams kind of go with their elbows and this is our looting spot. This is this and that. Why is FaZe not playing? FaZe is not playing because they're already qualified for the main tournament, so they don't have to play the qualifiers here. So we'll slow it down a little bit. Circle goes down south. Now, we used to talk a lot about rotations into first circles, and then some people were like, oh, but this is not important. And it might not be, but this one actually is kind of interesting, because we have 3 cities, Chuma, Pecado, and Los Leones. As a whole, they're not that bad, but they all kind of, they take each their... There's no corner in a circle. I always accidentally say corner. But they take each their chunk of the entry points to the circle. Because look at this. If you want to play center, if you want to play in the middle of this circle, and you don't want to go through either of the cities, you have a crater to drive through. That's probably not going to be what you want to do. You can go up and you can scout, and you can make your way over this way into the middle. Or you would have to wrap all the way south around. The only issue is then you have these mountain ridges. These mountain ridges here, these big mountains here, big mountain here, that you have to kind of avoid and find a way to maneuver through, which doesn't exactly make things easy either. So in order to get a piece of the middle, which really isn't a lot, if we go in and see what we have in the middle of this, good compound, good, decent, you don't want to get stuck down there early, good high ground position to play from, you can split between, like we know Liquid likes to do them in blue, Liquid colors. Liquid likes to split over on this side. FaZe likes to wrap all the way around. Well, why do we talk about FaZe? They're not even here. There, good spot in the middle. But as you can see, I mean, there isn't that much available for all these teams, because if teams like to split, then it's even more difficult, right? If teams like to split out, then it's going to be even harder. So let's zoom out again. It does get a little blurry when we zoom out, but I think that's okay just for the sake of me showing you guys what's going on. Circle, it's going to start closing on in. If you want to see, you can see the timer, the in-game timer up here in the corner. Circle's going to start closing in. Teams are going to start maneuvering forward. And as you can see, everyone is kind of funneling, like trying to maneuver their way in between the two cities. Nobody wants to commit inside Los Leones. Nobody wants to go inside Pecado. And teams don't want to hard commit to any one area. As we said, Liquid usually splitting the areas down here. They do the exact same thing again. TSM wrapping late on the eastern side. Braxco the first one to go take the hilltop to get the vision. And then if we pause right before the circle pops. Alright, there we go. Circle hasn't popped yet. What are people playing in these circles? And that's where I think it's really interesting to watch what people like to play in these type of circles early on. Do they just turtle down in a compound and go, okay, we'll just sit inside this room and wait for people to come to us? Or do they try and get vision and control for the rotations to come? Obviously, Etiquette in a rough position. They tried to split early down to one player. That's not what you want to have happen. Omarken, high ground. High ground. Adepts, they do a half-half. They keep Noki in the compound to say, okay, if we don't get the circle, I mean, if we do get the circle, I should say, then at least we have the compound. We can just go down there and play from there. In the meantime, the two other players, they'll have all the vision. From like a very, very, like from here, you can see, I don't know, something along the lines of this. You have vision over. So a lot of vision to be obtained by Sunsi, and I believe it's Ferrexo up there as well. Phantom, they're wrapping wide around the eastern side. Again, people don't really want to commit to go in to the middle of Los Leones. WGSG, high ground, get vision. Blaze, high ground, get vision. Tornado Energy, they're wrapping up around this way, high ground, get vision. YMCA, Sampula is up on the hilltop, high ground, get vision. We're seeing patterns emerge, right? Everybody wants to get vision from these, at least in the center, very, very open circles. Because you can see so far, so why not take advantage of that? New circle pops, we're going west. Okay, so we exclude the bit of water that was in, that's fortunate. We're heading over towards the west though. Tricky part to this circle is that this entire center area, let me just kind of draw it up here. This entire center area, you pretty much only have this compound to play from, at least in the early game. When none of the sides are excluded, like if you know there's no one up here, then sure you can play down here and look that way. But when all the different like sides of this area is in, it's impossible to play it in the middle. You're literally just gonna go down. So Adepts do a smart thing, they just crash into it immediately. Liquid see Adepts move, they go out and split even further. Take more control. Tornado, they take the church. Omarken, they now have a team between them, which could end up being a tricky situation. You saw Ival and Page, they try to rotate up towards Vasco and T-Bone, but here comes 7 Esports, they go in between them. And now they're in a bit of a weird situation, Omarken, where, okay, so either we fight them on two fronts, but this hill here, like this hillside here, is horrible. And I mean, like, horrible to go through. Will it just be chatting about the games, or will it be showing them too? I'm not going to be showing the actual games. I mean, this is the games. These are the games. These are, as you can see, the players moving around and doing different things. We do have a an opportunity to show. I mean, I do have an opportunity to show you guys some of the stuff in game, but it's not going to be something I'm going to be doing too much of. Mainly because I'm not sure if I'm allowed to. I know we're allowed to restream the PGS qualifiers. I've seen multiple people do that yesterday, but in terms of uploading stuff to YouTube and whatnot, I need to get clearance from either PUBG Corp or from StarLadder that is okay. So maybe we'll do it tomorrow. I'll send them a mail after we're done today, and then maybe we'll get some more. We won't tell anyone. maybe we'll get some more in-game stuff tomorrow. But also for me, I mean, I think for me, what I want to focus on in terms of this is the big rotations, the macro play, not the micro play. So what they do in terms of rotations, what they do in terms of how do they keep their splits. Not so much, oh, he should have leaned a little more right when he was taking that shot, or oh, he should have let the target a little more to hit the headshot on the car while he was driving. Those sort of things. That's not so much what I want to break down. There are some fights that can be really interesting to break down, but mainly for this, I wanna, like, since I don't have a proper tool to break down in-game stuff in terms of being able to pause, being able to fly around in the match and see stuff from different angles. I only get what the observers gave us during the live stream, and if that's not shown from the angle from which we can like analyze it properly, then it's kind of pointless. So for now, we'll stick to doing it this way, which I also think works just fine. So let's see. Center is pretty much already taken. Liquid splitting in a double split. Omarken forced to stay in a two-way split, I guess you can say. Tornado have control on the north. There's really nothing you can play inside this, inside this area. Like, there's nothing left for you to play. That is the plan, Barros. Yes, that's the plan. Barbarossa. I can't talk today. That's the plan. So this entire area is now taken. You could argue that, yes, okay, you can play down here, but probably not going to happen. So the center is very much taken by teams that, yes, they are splitting. So if you force your way in, then maybe you can push some teams off. But it's not going to be easy at all, which means that for all these remaining teams, primarily, actually only if we draw a line down through the middle, right? Kind of. Is this the middle? This is the middle. We have one team on the western side. Look at this. We zoom in a little. We have one team on the western side. West, east. For those of you guys who don't know what west and east is. We have one team, which is YMCA, on the western half. And we still have, we have 15 teams on the eastern side. Because, I mean, it was a west shift, which means that the teams have to move west as well. There's one team over here, 15 teams over here. Not easy. Which means that for a team like Windstreak, you can already see what they're doing. When there's a hard shift like this, what you do is you try and wrap around. Only issue is, in this area of the map, it's not easy. Because of the mountains, because it's so hard to traverse through, it really is not easy to rotate through at all. So Windstreak, Diamond Dogs, all trying to wrap around. Unity, a wide wrap from them, but then the circle hard shifts back east. And now they're out here going... I do know some Russian words that they would probably be screaming, but I'm not going to be saying those on stream right now. Because if that was me and I go, okay, guys, this is 600 IQ, west rotation, and then the circle hard shifts back to the east, I'd be a little frustrated. And also, I mean, this is, again, great read. Omarken, they see that Tornado, or that 7 Esports leave, and as soon as they drive off, Ival and Page are already there. Already going up. They know in order for us to win this game together, we need to play it together. Like, in order for us to do good here, we need to play it together. And literally the second 7 Esports starts driving down to the west, they're already on their way. So really, really smart rotation from Omarken to kind of get together again. Exalt splitting out, trying to take control. What would they think? Yeah. Aren't the mountains in the west unplayable area? No, not unplayable by any means. Not unplayable at all. So Omarken sitting 4 together in the compound. Circle goes east. They see James leave. They go down. They take it. Also, James, smart read by him. He knows. Okay, with this, we can see it here. With this circle shift, there's no way, like, there's literally no way that this is not going to get pushed by somebody. We still have 57 players alive. The players can see this as well, right? And there's only so many things you can play in this circle. Sitting a solo there, not gonna do it. And James, gotta give it to him. He's been a player who recently has been that first player to fall off, maybe caught off guard on his own. This is a great play. We've been, I would say because I actually haven't heard a lot of other casters or talent talk about it, but I have been somewhat critical on James and saying there has been situations where he's been caught in the open in the middle of a rotation or something. Maybe he left a little too late. Maybe he should have stayed. But this read right here, great to say, you know what? Something's going to happen. Like, it's just that spider sense where you go, if I stay here, I'm probably going to die. So he leaves, gets back to his teammate, works out perfectly. Smart play by James. Splits out, gets more control. Really, really smart play. Omarken as well, reading it immediately. No reason to play the hillside. Let's just go down and play from down here. Really, really smart play. Any link for the stream for PGS? It is the Play Battlegrounds stream. So twitch.tv/Play Battlegrounds. is the stream. So now, because the circle shifted back towards the east, it's a little more balanced in terms of we don't have everyone on the east or the western side any longer. But there is still quite a few open areas. We have the open hills down here. We have this whole area, which is practically unplayable. Open hill up here as well. We have the whole valley point, which is still horrible. And then we have the uphill area up here. So a lot of areas that you can't really play from. For those of you guys who watched GLL Season 4 finals, that's what I like to talk about there, was a lot of these open areas where they're there. I mean, it's part of the map, right? And you go, oh, but there's so much space in the circle. Why don't they just play some of the area that's available? But then you go, oh, okay, let's just mark out all these red areas that I've circled up and say, if they weren't there, how much do you really have to play from? And you're not going to drive up this super steep hill with like 2 kilometers an hour. So this is going to be hard to get to as well. So even though on paper and on the map, it looks like there's a lot available, there really isn't a whole lot that you can play from. Unless if you're willing to risk everything to push up a hill 5 kilometers an hour and then stop up here and have a team sitting there waiting for you, because there's no way to scout it, because this is the highest point. Like, you cannot scout up to the top of this because it's higher than all the other stuff on the circle. So tricky area to go through, which also means that down south, these teams start clustering up. Nobody wants to take the main roads because compounds can shoot. They're all trying to wrap around towards the east to go and get something, because there's nothing. Like, if you wrap west, it's not enough that you go, and that's where pro players are that step ahead. I know I'm sidetracking all the time here, but it's because it's the first day of the tournament. I want to lay down some basics for those of you guys who might be new to watching competitive PUBG. You got to think of it. I mean, actually, Pansy yesterday used the term chess a lot. It wasn't really in the same term of what I like to talk about it, but it makes perfect sense. It was in the end game on Erangel when they were talking about it's a game of chess where you have to try and figure out what's going to happen here and there and how will things impact one another. And that's exactly what you got to do here as well. But this is just a little broader term in the sense that you cannot just make that one move and go, oh, now we're inside the circle. It's all good. Because yes, you can go inside the circle, you can sit here, and you can go, ha, we're inside the circle. And then we just wait for the next one. You got to think a couple of circles ahead. You got to be smart about it. And you got to say, and that's why you see, even though, if we go back a little, when the circle shifts, there's plenty of room. There's plenty of room to go this way. But nobody wants to do it. Why? Because there's literally nothing to play. You can go up this way, and you won't have anywhere to stop before you get either to the Omarken compound, which is like a massive uphill. You crash this compound, which is already taken, or you play the ridgeline up here, where you're committing to play one rock and whatever exploded vehicles you have left. So even though, again, terrain-wise, it looks like there's a lot to play, there really isn't. This is where you have all the compounds. This is where you have the different dips and ridges you can play. You have the fields with all the hay belts you can play from. You can crash up towards the compounds in the north. You can try and maneuver in and around these areas and scout your way forward. Here, you're in a valley, so you cannot see, like from down here, you cannot see more than here. So you have to think circles ahead, and that's why you see, even though there's a billion teams down here that could easily do like that, they all end up wanting to go in the other direction. I hope if I'm talking too fast, guys, let me know. Let me know. I'm trying to... Here comes an Octave again. They're a little late to the party, but they're making their way in. Orange Snow and an Octave. They're like, yes, we're inside the circle. So the fight escalates down south. Big cluster fight. Circle goes north once more. Liquid sitting dead center. Good spot to be in. James might want to run back down towards his teammates because, again, same situation as before. We cannot sit like this for too long. But having said that, they have a lot of vision and they will have time to prepare in case somebody comes. YMCA, they were sitting around, they were waiting, they were trying to scout forward. You see, even before the circle pops, they're already in their vehicles. They're going to get ready. They're just going to send it forward. We talked about that little dip just before. That's exactly where they're sitting. An Octave and Orange Snow from Unity, they have crashed up and taken what small dips they have available. WGSG take a fight to Tornado Energy on the western side. And then they go, nope, we got to go around. Doesn't work. They go out. Win streak 15, try to wrap around Exalt. So this is just a fight for anything. Like, you just want to have any kind of space. And as we see, immediately once the circle pops, EB goes up to help James, knowing that we need more vision up here. We need more control. We need to make sure that these people can't play this hillside. Because once this hillside is taken by an opposing team, all of a sudden this compound is not that good anymore. The only reason this compound is great is because you have a ton of vision if you have the hillside in control as well. And the fact that they can keep all this to themselves with just 4 alive, like with just a 2-way split, is very, very, very impressive. As we said, WTSG try to wrap around. Win streak wants to get on the inside of Exalt. Circle centers up once more. Omarken, all of a sudden very happy that they crashed there early. TSM, they go for the little shack area. There's like a few rocks up in this area as well. Tornado Energy, they're just playing control. Tornado Energy on the northern side, they're just playing control. They're going, great, we're up here now, we sent 2 down, we gotta clear out this. In order to wrap out this way, we cannot have people on our northern side who can shoot us in the back. They clear out, they go back together, now they push in together. Then they push further forward, always just slow and steady, slow and steady, slow and steady. Why did James leave the compound and group with his teammates? Because he realized, okay, we have 57, that was back before, right? We have 57 people alive in this circle. I'm gonna go back to when it happened. Circle pops. We have 57 people alive. If this circle comes to the east, which it does, and James sees this circle, let's say he's still back in the compound, right? There's only, as I said before, there are only so many places you can play from. Because this is a big field, you're not going to go there. This is a big field, you're not going to go there. This is a big field, you're not going to go there. There are only so many places you can play from, and James realizes, okay, if there's still 57 people alive, somebody will crash this. And if he's sitting there all by himself, no matter how good James is, he's not going to go out and kill 4 people who come crashing in towards his compound. So once he's heard the bikes up here, saw them start driving down the hill, and I believe Mexi maybe has spotted them as well, James goes to get away, because it's much more important to keep all 4 players alive in the late game than potentially get 1 kill there and then end up going down. So new circle pups, as we saw just before. Liquid, they go again, exact same thing as we saw before. They had the control, 2 different places, and now they go, great. Same thing as before when James went up here. Now they go, we prioritize, do we want to play here or do we want to play the compound? Late game, compound is amazing. Good. So what do you want to do? You want to secure the compounds. And what do you not want to do? Get caught in the open with 2 players by themselves. So James Navy immediately backing down. Omarken, as I said, playing it safe. YMCA holding off the adepts, doing a great job at that as well. They have to push further forward. New circle pops, it goes down south, which means that all these players will have to be forced down this road. And you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4 teams on the northern side who aren't in yet. YMCA, they can crash either they can crash the ridges outside this compound, or they can try and cross over, which would probably be a death sentence. But there's a chance that they could do that. Also, Fizzy, thank you so much for the year. That is very, very nice of you. Sorry I didn't see you sub there, but thank you so much. It means a lot. Tier 2 sub for a year, Fizzy. You're insane. Fights escalate on the northern side. Liquid survive with 2. T-Bone pushing out. Now, this is a thing that Omarken are really good at doing. They never just allow themselves to get locked down in the compound. They push out to try and secure the area. If they just sit inside the buildings and hide with their guns out, they will allow for people to come to them, and if there's a fight going on, we all know that teams like to third party and do crazy shenanigans in that direction. So they send out T-Bone to try and clear off here. Spots Sample up, gets him down, comes back in, and now they start splitting out again. As soon as the new circle pops, they cross over because they know and they hear there's a big fight going on between Exalt and TSM. Let's utilize that. Knowing that these guys are not looking for us, because their main threat is this area right here. Crossing the road, that is where they can go down. Like, the road crossing can kill them, but the fact that they both kill Coyote, and also knowing that these teams are fighting and you have knocks on both sides, means that, great, this is our time to push. Wrap around, try and see what we can do from the hilltop. All of a sudden, it's a 1v1. TSM against Omarken, a 1v1. It's a 3v3, I mean. Ivel gets back on his feet. 4v3, terrible area to have to fight through, but interesting one nonetheless. Knowing now that they have them cornered. Look at the circle control, right? I mean, Omarken knows this. The more they don't see them, the more they know where they can be. And this is where Omaken 4v4 late game, that's one of the main reasons that they keep winning on Sanhok. They're just really, really good at up-close fighting as a team. T-Bone wraps around, tries to get control. He's just going to play the contain, meaning that his main job is not to push anyone. His main job is to make sure they don't push down. Like, he's not trying to push in. He's going to try and force them forward. It's like sheep herding, you know? It's sheep herding. He's just standing here to make sure they don't go that way. You see? And if they do, he takes them out. So slow and steady, push further forward, take control, take them out. They lose 2 players or they lose 1, get 1 knocked, but they win it in the end. Very, very smart fight. If it was a 4v4, could have been different. Sure, it could have. I mean, TSM is a great team, no doubt about it. They could have potentially won it. But I would say recently, I mean, knowing how Omaken plays, how they have been playing for the last, better part of the last year, I don't think so. They're just really, really good up close. You rarely ever see Omaken lose a 4v whatever late game. So they go out, they win the game. Interesting first game as well. If there's any questions, do feel free to ask. It's always good fun to have questions asked in the chat. But that was game number 1. And again, thank you all so much for tuning in. There's a lot of people here who want to watch these. So that first game took a little longer to explain. Than what they normally would. But that's because we went over some of the basics. And now I feel like you guys might know. What's the website? ! Program. Now I feel like you guys might know a little. Or you might know a little. That can allow for you to get more into it. This plane, if I knew how to draw, is an interesting one. First of all, that's exactly how it went. I cannot draw. There we go. that's as close as it's gonna get. It's not. Oh, God damn it! It was more like that. You know what? It's just gonna be. We're gonna leave the plane like this. What I'm trying to say with it is this whole thing up here. Nah, you're not gonna get there. Hey, Mike, you're not gonna get there. Most likely. What's a circle? Too far. You're not making my job any easier. What do I think about Team Liquid's 2-1-1 splits? Not necessarily. I mean, Clumsy, as long as you can disengage, as long as you can always get away, like we saw, James had a way of getting away from the road compound to get up the hill again. As long as you always have an exit plan, then you're fine. Then you can take control of whatever the hell you want. I mean, it's like a buffet, right? If no one else is going to take it, you might as well just take it. There's no reason not to, as long as, and that's why when we go about prio compounds, you know, like if you've heard players talk about prio compounds and, oh, this is a god compound and all that stuff. Part of it is, of course, whatever buildings are there, like loot-wise and stuff. A main part of it is its location, according to where circles normally tend to go. But a really big portion of it is this a compound that if all hell breaks loose and I need to get the hell away, there's somewhere I can go. The compound on the west side, okay, a gut compound on Erangel would be... I'm saying Erangel, I'm looking at... Toby, you really gotta get your shit together. A gut compound on Erangel would be the one next to Swamp. Well, you know what, we'll go there. Keep that in mind. Once we get over to Erangel, I'll explain to you exactly what a gut compound is. Because I have a Ends compound is a gut compound. I'm tempted to agree. I still think there are better compounds, but they are good. They are very good. The only issue with them are leaving. I would actually argue that sitting up here is better than sitting down here. Because you have the if you can get control of both the rocks, like both the mountain and the compound, then you're good. Sitting here with people on the rocks is dangerous. Sitting here with people all around you can be difficult as well. And having to leave can be tricky. Exactly. But let's keep going. Let's hop into game number 2. We're doing it a bit too slow today. So let's hop over to game number 2 straight away. Let's get the plane going. Everything is down south. Omaken out early towards Valle del Mar. YMCA, they're going up towards the west coast, knowing that Fate's in here, so they get Monte for free. Circle, send us up. There's a lot of interesting areas in this one. We've talked about this one before. I mentioned it during the analysis stream at GLL as well. This area is one of those, either you go on one side or you go on the other. Down here, you have the whole crater. La Bendita, of course, as well. Some interesting areas to have to fight through in this circle. And also right now, the centers are extremely split. Is EB landing there? He is. Okay. So Liquid are daring enough to play with 3 in Picado and 1 on the hillside. Etiquette, they're sitting out here, knowing there's no one in Chuma. They have all the space in the world. There's plenty of people up towards the northeast. Circle goes down towards the south center, south-ish, I guess you can say. And rotations coming in now are going to be tricky because in this area, it's hard to traverse, like it's hard to get around. As I said before, there's a lot of wonky areas that you cannot really just straight on rotate through. So you really have to plan, like we're sitting here knowing that if the circle goes whatever, then we have a way to get there. That's you know what, should I? No, that's going to be confusing on YouTube. I was thinking if I should do a countdown clock, just for those of you guys wondering when the next games will start. Because it starts in 2 hours and 20 minutes, I guess. Right? I think so. So Blaze, they went up, took hill control a little too early maybe, and then this shift happens. That's a win streak 15 shift right there. Half circle, we have 1 team, 2 teams north, 13 teams south. 2 teams north, 13 teams south. What does that mean for players trying to rotate in? This right here is free real estate. Like this right here is exactly where you want to go. But how? How the hell do you get there? If you're Blaze, if you're Inside Games, if you're any team all the way down south, how in the universe do you make your way up here? 2 ways. 13 and 2. Nice math. 14. Fuck's sake. Stir! Didn't you know they're playing 15 team lobbies in this tournament, guys? Fuck. What I wanted to say with it is, you have Minas, which is hard. Like, you cannot just go like that. So you have to wrap either all the way around, which is a lot of uphill, to then followed by a lot of downhill. You have to go through, you have to go over Minas and down, and then you have this whole area that you can't really do a whole lot in. So this area here, let me draw it in another color now that the teams that are here are red as well. This area here is horrible to be forced into. This area on the other side, equally not very good at this point in the game. So in order to go anywhere, you would have to either wrap all the way around here, or go all the way around Power Grid, because as we said, this area here is horrible, right? So you want to wrap all the way around and go up. Let's see exactly how things pan out. Wrap around, wrap around. Liquid, they send it over the top. We know that Liquid likes to play center. This right here. Look at where they rotate from. That's a DA rotation if I've seen one. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but that is a very, very committed rotation. I like the idea. I truly do like the idea. But that is one hell of a rotation. Not something a lot of teams would dare to pull off. Same thing with TSM. They go, well, we know there's no one in Minas. Let's just send it. They go straight through. Again, they know, everybody knows there's so many areas available up here. And if you can get there fast enough, there's a chance that you can play it. Teams went up, tried to scout further forward, didn't get the timing right, goes down to win streak. Yes, correct. Let's slow it down a little bit. Still a lot of teams down south. We have 3 teams kind of pinned together because the natural, or like the way of the terrain, is forcing all the teams into a funnel down here, which means that they all go down. New circle, pops down towards the south again. So for the teams that decided to stick around, Tornado Energy, Exalt, they're all in a pretty decent spot now. WGSG, you can see that they were thinking about it. They were going, do we want to sit 2-2 at this point, or should we just get together now? And well, it seems like they decided to stay. They're going, okay, enough players went north that it has balanced out things. Because if there was still a massive chunk of teams down towards the south, there would have been more pressure on their compound. There would have been more of a, I don't know about this, guys. Maybe we should get together in case somebody comes and breaches us. But I think they're realizing, okay, we don't hear any vehicles. Now that the circle shifted, we don't hear any cars. There isn't a massive focus on our compounds, because you could see, I mean, I think both Xiong and Vard actually got into their cars. Yep, they actually did. They went into their cars. They were ready to rotate once the circle popped, and they go, no, you know what, actually, let's just, no, immediately goes back to the compound again. They started driving, turns back immediately going, you know what, I don't think we have to move. I think we can actually play this 2-2. So ballsy play, but it makes perfect sense. 7 Esports try to get some high ground control. They know there's still teams in Picado, so it's limited what they can really do to try and scout further forward. Windstreak and Liquid fighting up towards the north. Again, when you have... Let me draw this up for you. This is going to be a very weird figure. Right now, I'm drawing up areas with the exception of this. I guess we can actually just do it like this. With the exception of this. And with the exception of this. This right here, well, I guess with the exception of this kind... What this is still in? I don't know. This right here is unplayable terrain. It's not unplayable, as in you cannot get there, because obviously you can park your car in the middle of a field if that's what you want to do. But it's unplayable in terms of all these teams know if we stop our cars anywhere here, right now, we are most likely going to die. So that's a big part of why you see so many teams kind of out on each side right now. Nobody dares going in. YMCA, they find themselves stuck on the hilltop. They do have all the vision in the world, but they're probably right now thinking, oh my lord, if this circle goes anywhere except for the power grid hill, how in the hell are we going to get down from here? Liquid kind of in the same situation. They need to deal with Windstreak 15 first as well. And everything else is just really, really, really not very good to, or really easy to get off of. So that's why you see a lot of teams coming into the east side, a lot of people down south still. Everybody is waiting for that next circle to pop. Because, for example, if you take a look at the area up here, this area is only unplayable because you have this hilltop in. As long as all the Adepts players can sit from like 100 meters above and look over this entire area, you're never safe. You can never hide behind anything because these guys will have vision on you regardless. So you're gonna get wrecked, right? Same thing over here. You cannot play this roadside. You cannot play this side of the road because this up here is still in. They can just look down towards you. You cannot play this side because these guys are still in. So a lot of these areas are playable later in the game when some of these counter areas get removed, or you know that there's no one playing there. But right now, since everything is still in, no one can really go to those spots. And that's why everyone right now, you see no one's fighting, no one's doing anything. Everybody's just waiting for that next circle to pop so they can go, oh, please, please give us something we can play. And let's see what happens. New circle pops. It goes east. Why does it do that? Well, because it has to exclude this area. Very obvious. I think. 15 minutes in, circle 4. Yes, it should be. It goes out to the east. A lot of people expected that. And now is when the rotations start to come in. Because all of a sudden, you can place some areas down here where you're not visible to this area, as long as you know there's no one above you. Very difficult circle to play. Exalt, they're going, how the hell are we supposed to hold up everyone crashing us? WGSG immediately send it over here knowing that this is going to be a compound where everyone's going to have eyes. Keep in mind that from up here to down here, it's just downhill. It's all downhill from there, quite literally. Everything is going in that direction, downhill towards the compound. So WGSG is going to sit here looking at this direction and just like literally going to shoot at everything they can. It's like going to be Alamo all over again. Them just getting pushed by hordes of opponents. Hopefully for them, a lot of these teams will fight up on the ridges first so that they'll have some safe space to play from. Omaken as well, no reason for them to go anywhere. They can't really go anywhere, to be fair. And then we have the roads. All of a sudden, the road side now is going to be not a good spot by any means, but it's going to be somewhat playable, because the majority of this hillside is out. So there's something you can play. And I'm actually kind of curious to see what Omaken does, or YMCA does here. They go down, they see WGSG leave, they take the compound. It's in. It's a bad spot, but it's in. Exactly what you want to do. TSM as well, try to lock down, but as you can see, they're completely visible to the people above, and they get pinned down in the field. They simply went there too early. Not a lot you can do. Inside games, plenty of vision on the hilltop. They're just farming right now. No one is able to shoot at them. Like, this is the perfect situation if you're inside games. Once they clear out for Rex, they know for a fact we have all the room in the world, and none of the players down here, nobody down here has time to shoot at us right now. Hey, Pixel, thank you so much for this sub, man. Much appreciated. By the way, guys, speaking of Pixel, he's right there. Thank you so much, man. Much appreciated. So they're in a perfect position. They know all these guys down here, they have to fight each other. Like, these guys are so focused on shooting at each other that we can just shoot at them. No one's going to be shooting at us. It's an easy chance for us to get kills. Smack a 8x, 6x, fucking 15x on your DMR and just get kills. Just farm kills as much as you please. That's the situation they're in up here. They can just shoot and shoot and shoot and shoot, and that's exactly what they're doing. Makes perfect sense. New Circle Pups, send us up. Now, they can still... Can they? I don't know if they can stay up here. I think they might actually be able to stay, but I don't think that's a smart play. The good thing is, they know for a fact, because they've been sitting up here inside games... Now the Pixel is here, we give them a little talking time, you know? Because they've been sitting up here this whole time, they know, guys, this area is free. We just killed everybody who were here. There's literally nobody. Maybe they know that Simsy is here, but it's not really gonna matter. So they also know, free push down the hill if they want to. They haven't really, since they've been playing this northern side for a while, you can see Sampeak is the one who's holding back. Like, he's the one who's making sure no one is gonna push up this way, right? He's the one playing safe here. Now they swap spots. Free kill goes down, peek over this way, but they're mainly focusing up here, knowing now this is completely and utterly up for grabs if we want it. Sampeak free kill, they do stay on the hillside to try and make sure that no one's going to be shooting at them. Inside games, easy playable terrain on the northern side. Down south, WGSG, been forced to make a move out of the compound. They now have to make sure, like, the worst thing in this situation, whenever the new circle pops, the worst thing that can happen to WGSG is if another team gets to wrap on the inside of them. If another team gets to set up here, that's going to make it so hard for WGSG to do anything, because then they're going to be forced to go up and take that fight. And that's going to make, well, yeah, that's just going to make it a lot tougher for them. So what they do, Iroh, spread out early. They need to set up a net. Like, they need to set up a wall here and make sure that no one is going to be let in. They need to make sure no one from like inside these green lines make their way over here. That's their goal right now. They're the goalie, and everyone coming from this direction is the ball. You can see as soon as they get up here, shoot at them. Okay, now we know both of them are knocked. Don't have to worry about that right now. Shoot at the next guys. Make sure that they're staying on the other side of the road. In the meantime, make sure 7 are out. Good, nice. Insta kill on that one. Final kill. Elimination, elimination. We now know for a fact this is ours. Really smart play on the side of WGSG. Spread out, take control, and then once you're moving forward again, use the vehicle, have Iroh there, you can push as a team and make your way inside the circle. Free kill, he's left up on the hill. Sampeak has jumped down. They're trying to hold off Tornado Energy. I think Free kill might have eyes on them. I would think so, but nope, he's going to go down the hill as well. Makes perfect sense. Don't want to get caught up there in the end of it. WGSG sent Xiong inside, lock down a spot in the circle, have the rest of them try to hold off YMCA as they're coming pushing in. 1 down, 2 down, 3 down, 4 down. Clear your edges. It's funny how when we introduced Sanhok, everyone was like, oh, they're all clearing edges and stuff all of a sudden. And I'm like, guys, they've been doing this the whole time. The only difference is that now they're doing it 50 meters away from each other instead of, what is this, 100 meters away from each other? It's the exact same thing. They just do it on a smaller map. Like, you know, on Sanhok when they, oh, we gotta go and clear this tree, we gotta clear that rock, we gotta push around and make sure that no one's on our side. They're doing the exact same thing on Miramar and on Erangel and on McKendy and Karrakin if they were playing those maps too. It's the exact same strategy. They just do it over more space, because where Sanhok is mainly a AR up close map, this is a DMR little further distance map. So a lot of the strategies that teams are implementing, they will try to, like, whatever they're good at. If you're one of your strong things that you do, if one of your advantages is you're really good at sweeping and clearing edges, then do that on all the maps. Just use different guns. And that's exactly what WGSG does here. Swoop out, clear out. Now we have more room to work with, so that if we take a fight to the teams up here, we will know for a fact there's nothing to worry about. There's not going to be any pressure coming from here, because we've just cleared this entire area of the map. Make sense? Hope it does. Also, by clearing out this team, they don't have a chance to swoop underneath the whole thing. That being as long as Exalt don't see them. So WGSG playing the hillside, hoping the circle is going to go down towards them. Sonata Energy forced, like, playing from a dip up here. Inside games, they have a little shack and a hillside to play with as well. This is actually, come to think of it, this is a pretty rare ending. This is a pretty rare ending, not gonna lie. Omagan, not forced to push, but they're gonna do it anyway. Try to push up the hill to the gravestone area. I don't know what you call it. The actual graveyard. Circle shifting down towards what WGSG. They get lucky here. I don't think they're gonna deny that either. They get lucky here that their ridgeline stays in, because had it gone up here, they would have been absolutely fucked. So they get to stick around without Exalt being able to do a whole lot to deal with them. And this is one of those situations where we talk about teams that dare to push out of their compound, teams that dare to go out and take control, right? Had this been Omagan, had this been WGSG, had this been another aggressive late game team, I want to say Navi, but not really. Maybe FaZe, I don't know. They would never have sat 4 people inside here in the late game. Like, they would never have been sitting 4 people in here for that long. They would have pushed one out, try and clear. Push one out, try and clear. There's only, what, 3 or 4 doors on this side of the building? Like, on this side of the building, there's, what, 3 doors? I don't remember. I think there's 3 doors and 2 windows in between, right? So there's like 6 viewpoints on that side of the building. That's all the vision they have. Everyone can push down and play here. And play here. There's nothing they can do about it. They can only, like, they're playing according to what other teams want to do. Inside games, wrapping underneath. There's nothing Exalt can do about it, because they don't go out and take control earlier. So they get pinned inside the compound, and if the circle shifts away, which we know it will, because it's going to center up in the end of it, they now have only a few windows to look through. They only have a few windows to look through, and worst of that is those few windows they can look through are also their only exit points. They will have to vault, they will have to jump, they will have to run through a door. And Pixel, he's just waiting. I think he's probably more looking this way. But everyone's just waiting for this. Like, everyone knows there are free kills in that building, and they need to get out of there somehow. Free kill. Everyone's just trying to wrap. Like, they're just wrapping around, trying to make sure that, well, you guys are not getting out of there. And they don't, as far as I know. Shift, nope, goes down. Great hold by Inside Games. Finds Vard in the end as well. And what gave them that win? Not only did they play it smart earlier, they rotated wisely on the top side. Smart plays to make their way down from the hill. And also, they moved when they had to. Not when Blue pushed them, but they moved when they knew, if we don't make a play now, we're going to be the ones caught on the backside. If Exalt was allowed to just sit and watch them, Inside Games would probably never made it down that hill. But because they make a smart play, they get the win. Really great play. Pixel. Good job. So that was game 2. I hope you guys are enjoying it so far. I'm having a good time bringing you these games, so I hope you're enjoying watching. Now, for everyone's favorite map. So we've spent like 20 minutes on each map so far. This map I think we're going to go over in 4. They would have, Baloo, for sure. And I think that's what they realized too. That, Gato, this is for you. I think that's what they're realizing too. That, guys, we're not going to get a lot of kills. We just got to chill here and hope that we can get placement points. Because every time they peeked out the window, they get shot at, right? But that's why I'm saying, had they done that 3 cycles earlier, then 2 cycles earlier, maybe, made sure they couldn't even get to that place in the first place, it could have played out different. It's very, very situational when we discuss these things, and that's why I don't always like to go too much in depth with fight specifics, like this kind of was in the end of it. I like to do more the broader analysis perspectives, because first of all, I'm not a player. I mean, I am a player, play the game, but I'm not a competitive standard player, so I can't go out and try and educate a player on how you should peak this and this and that. So even though I know things, I don't want to go too much in depth with that, because that's not where my strong suit is. I know stuff about rotations, I know what the different teams like to do, and that I can try and not teach but talk with you guys about as well, and actually feel comfortable about it too. But let's head over to game number 3. Let's see. Plane is in the air. Like, just don't care. Northern side. Pretty straightforward. Everything can happen. I didn't actually watch this game, so I don't know anything about this before right now. Diamond Dogs, they split out. They don't have DA there busting their feet. 7, they'll take some control. Or market now. Oh my, what the fuck? What the fuck is this circle? No. Oh well, I wonder what island this circle will go to. Vex is like, guys, whenever you're ready, come up on my hill. We'll just chill. That's fun. Okay, so this is an island. Everyone has to get there. Oh, Melbourne, that's what you were talking about. Yeah, it's starting to make sense now. Clumsy, I would love that. I would love that. I've been saying that for the last year. Let's see. Now, I don't normally do a lot of analysis, again, because Sanhok is so much fighting analysis instead of like big rotation analysis, and what I do is rotation analysis mainly. But bridge, little bridge, small crossing. 1, 2. Wait, we can do the other way. 1, 2, 3 teams on the island. I mean, this is pretty safe, but 16 teams, because there are 16 teams in the lobby, by the way. 13 of those have 4 entry points. Unless, of course, if you swim over up here, you take boats. I could imagine Blaze being like, whee! This is not going to be easy. This is not going to be easy at all. Let's see. Let's see what happens, shall we? Let's just play it. We're not gonna talk. We'll just sit and watch. Feels bad, Raycrant. There's no boat for you. Oh, there was a boat. Okay, so what did we see? We talked about the rotation paths that are there, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Boat. Or boat. Let's see how many of those were used. And play it again. 1. Over there. Scooters over there. Boats from the south. I guess south boats count as well. Boat. Yep. Crossing. And they're going to be forced to stay on the south side now, because there's teams on the other sides too. Okay. So, tough situation to be in. But to be fair, the fact that... Oh, wait. We just lost all those players. Ah, that's because of the elimination there. Okay, that makes sense. But to be fair, I mean, this is not something that players didn't actually expect anyway. Like, this is not something that wasn't already kind of predetermined. In terms of everyone knows where they can cross, and the crossings kind of made sense. We had 2 boats on the northern side, 1 boat down south, and then teams trying to... Liquid got over and did what? They end up running straight into Windstreak. Why do they go south around? I'm looking at Liquid right now. They get over at 3 minutes. 3-minute marker they're crossing. You can see the timer up here on the top. I would have thought they would have wanted to go up here. Because this is arguably... Everyone is talking about how this is the best spot in this circle, because obviously the hilltop is hidden. I think this is one of the better spots. Because you have a lot of vision down south, and you can still make your way both up and down. If you're up here, you're kind of committed to the hilltop. This combat, I think, in these circles is arguably one of the best. If you can 2-2 split these two, you're perfectly set. Because it's so far, like the circle is so far west right now. Remember, the next one doesn't have to go on land. It's the one after that. They saw them crossing. Yeah, it could have been. They see them in the water and they go, oh, easy peasy. Then Max Saw just goes bada bing, bada boom. And they all go down. That's a good read. That's actually a good read. That they saw them cross. They thought they could butcher them and it just did not at all work out the way they wanted it to. That's a good call. So they got a little greedy, end up going down because of it. TSM, they're doing their 4-way split. Seen that before. It's all James' fault. I don't think it was. I do not think it was. I mean, I don't know exactly how things went down. So, I didn't watch this game. I was playing a tournament in another game, which didn't go so well, so we don't have to talk about that. 7, YOLO. That's normally what happens when you YOLOs. T-Train, are you gonna die? No? Yes. That's what happens when you try to YOLO. Circle, back on land, to be expected. Again, this is a game where I want to look at TSM and see how they fare. Of course, Exalt just trying to clean up everything on the south side so they can play with their backs free. Grab around, swoop, clear out. Tornado Energy, they're chilling below. Look at how dynamic TSM are. Never stale, always moving around. If you play a little faster, they have each their corners, always feeling where's the pressure building up from, where's the pressure coming in from, always being smart about it. There's only so many entry points, right? You have one here, you have one here, one here, and one, I guess, kind of here. Those are the only entry points to your hill. And they're just doing a really smart job at keeping it safe. It's actually a circle that's really difficult to play because you're always outnumbered. Like, you're pretty much always outnumbered when you have these fights. But constantly running around, they lose 1. Still holding up on the hilltop. Again, maneuvering around, splitting out, running around. Tornado Energy, they must have gotten a lot of kills at this point in the game. Exalt, 3 teams alive. TSM, Jimty gets a double. Good shooting. Jimty got 9 kills? Damn, son. Well, that's again. It's a little like the situation we saw with... I wonder how many of those kills came in. I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from Jimty because he's an insane player. Very, very talented player. But I wonder how many of those kills he got from opponents that actually also shot at him. You know what I mean? Because this is very similar to the situation that we saw with Inside Games on Miramar just before. Where you can see here. How many kills does he get here? He already has 6 kills at this point. There he gets 2. Down here as well, players trying to run up. Takes them out. So, I mean, I'm not trying to take anything away from him. Because it is a very difficult thing to get 9 kills in a lobby with players this good. And it's arguably even harder to find the third-party opportunities. That's one of the big things to me. Like, being able to know this is where they're going to fight. Because you see them, they're running around. It's as if Jimty just knows. Jimty just knows, oh, there's a fight. Like, this is where the next fight is going to be. He's already running down there. You see? That's why I'm saying the way that TSM plays this so dynamic is really, really difficult to do, and they make it work. Like, really impressive to see. Very, very, very impressive to watch. So, TSM wins that one. A little quick analysis of Sanhok. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's very limited what I can talk about on Sanhok in terms of rotations. But let's, oops. Let's hop over to Erangel. Game number 4. El Giganten Hill tonight. Oh, Lana. Okay, I see how it is. Well, hopefully you get that one game there then. You get one game and it has to go there again. Good luck with that. Let's hop over to Erangel game number 4. Boop. Let's speed up that flight, shall we? Fair flight. Everyone's happy. There's no dedicated multi-power teams anyway. Interesting circle before the circle pops though. Alright, let's see. Actually, we'll just wait for that a little bit. Okay, let's... Blaze, why are you rotating so early? Okay, let's pause here. Do we have any changes in terms of loot spots? Let me know, guys. Do you see anything that's out of the ordinary? We'll zoom out. I'll let you guys tell me who is not in a spot they would normally be in. Ty says Inside Games. Taishi says... Oh, it says TSM. Taishi says Inside Games. TSM. Is Inside Games not a spot they would normally be? I'm seeing TSM as well. Severny TSM, that's a new one. Win streak 15. They're in Rosok. Exalt finally got their spot back. They've been there. They've been there. WGSG. Unity. A lot of different opinions on this one. So, the reason I mean, this is again me saying it's not always just me talking about things. I want you guys to like engage in the conversation as well. But Unity obviously didn't get to the spot they wanted to go. That's why they're going Stalva Kameshki. They're all the way up here. TSM, I'm curious to see, because now this was not, looking at the plane path, right? This is not an easy multiplane. This is not an easy multiplane. Especially not when you know Blaze likes to loot shelter. You know Blaze like to go here, which means, are you really going to fight for vehicles in this area to go down towards Milta? Probably not. And even if they wanted to, I'm not even sure if TSM wants to go Milta anymore. So, so this alone blocks off any chances to go down in this area, right? I don't know what your message was. Anyway, let's see. After this weekend, Clumsy. After this weekend, we're hopping over to 2.0. So circle pops. Of course, not the best for TSM, but it is what it is. People said that WGSG changed their spots. They have, because I mean, first they were here, then for a little while they played like 3 scrims over here, and now they've gone back to playing here. It's a little interesting. Like they played 3 or 4 scrims trying to split shelter and some stuff here, and they're like, nah, that doesn't work. So they committed to looting here, and it's really not that bad a spot. Iro, the first thing he does is always go and steal the hard spawn here. So they have a vehicle guaranteed. There's a hard spawn US inside ruins, so they have 2 cars guaranteed. And I don't think there's a hard spawn here for Miracle and Vard. But either way, they can always just have these 2 people come over and pick them up. Welcome to East Georgiapol. Welcome to Ruins. That should be their new name. Because they ruin all the other teams. There is one? Oh, yeah. Down here. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So they have 3 guaranteed vehicles. Like, they have 3 guaranteed cars. That's pretty damn good. If you can lock down 3, not potential vehicles, but 3 hard spawns, that is a... that's a pretty good situation to be in. There's one... Vajrisky... Yeah, there's also the one up here, kind of. But they don't need that. They already have 3 cars, so they should be just fine. Like Miracle and Vard can just rotate together. They know Liquid never push up to aggro on them. The one time that Exalt tried to go down in this direction, WTSG just landed 4 people in the same compound and killed them, so that's not gonna happen either. Adepts, they split Yasnaya with Omarken. Inside Games, you guys said that Inside Games changed up the loots, but I feel like they've been up here for a while. Northside Mansion split, that's not that new. If you've been watching the scrims, then that's pretty common to see Inside Games in that area. Phantom have all the room in the world on the western side. 7, they're going back down towards military. No big surprises. One thing that I was surprised about in the beginning of this one was that Liquid didn't go military early. Now, of course, this is by no means a guaranteed military base circle. It's quite literally like 48-52% split. It has a little more military in than it has this, I guess, in terms of, I don't know, but it's by no means guaranteed which side it's going to go to. And I think that's why I don't see Liquid move. Like, Liquid will always rotate at like 2 minutes to cross. I think they actually do that the next game too. But here I was looking at them going, when are they going to rotate? Didn't happen. Another thing that I think is funny is Diamond Dogs actually managed to kick out Tornado Energy. That's what you guys were talking about too. This is interesting to me for 2 reasons. One being that Diamond Dogs, when they were fighting, like, would always fight in this compound. When they were fighting here with Tornado Energy during the scrims, more often than not, Tornado Energy would come out on top. Like, they were killing a lot of Diamond Dogs players in this area during scrims. And despite that, they've actually decided to give it to Diamond Dogs. I think Diamond Dogs, I mean, I don't know what they did during the scrims here, but they've probably just said, you know what? I mean, it's not worth it. We'll just take whatever is west. There's no one splitting there anyway, so this is pretty free. We'll just play this area of the map. Makes perfect sense. And then Etiquette. This is a strange split to me. We talk about vehicles, right? We talk about hard spawns. We talk about what you get. This is a very strange split to me. Of course, there's no Navi, but then why the hell don't you just land in Ferry Pier? There's literally nobody in Ferry Pier. At least you do 1-1-1-1 split. Because if YMCA is committed Prim with 1 player out, then just put 1 Ferry Pier so you have a way to control it. Or go 2-1-1. And then have this guy rotate over. Or one of these guys rotate up towards this compound. Because, I mean, they know Navi ain't here. And no one really... Maybe they were pressured by 7? Maybe they thought 7 was going to go. I mean, you see them land and they cross over instantly. That might have been it. That might have been it, that they thought that 7 was going to go Ferry Pier. But if they were going to go Ferry Pier, they would never have landed for vehicles. They would just have flown straight down here to take control. I don't know. It was just that I saw that on the map yesterday and I was a little confused by it. Why they would split it like this. And I think they also, don't they lose 1 early to Coyote? I think they may. I don't remember. Phantom. I think they regret this. They do what I thought Liquid might end up doing. And they just, I mean, knowing where the circle ends up going. That's one of those, well, probably shouldn't have rotated across that fast. Liquid, they go hilltop control. They realize this is open. They go, oh, that's pretty easy. Etiquette, they set up on the bridge, waiting for anyone to push down in that direction. Inside Games, take the boat around. Unity, boats around. TSM rotating a little slower. Not too much fuss in that. Circle goes back north. Again, I mean, a lot of people in the chat was like, oh my god, it went north, oh my god, oh my god. But as you can see, a lot of players were predicting this one too. And then you can go, why do they stay? Like, why do they stay in a 50-50 instead of crossing? Because you could argue that making this cross later would be horrible. The only thing is, if you look at what you cross into, once you cross over here, it's really, really difficult if you just move all the players. If we cross from here to here, it's really difficult to set up a proper bridge camp on this side. For multiple reasons. If you're committed, like we're talking all the way down by the bridge, right? You're sitting here and you're shooting up in this direction. Anyone can go up here or go up here and start shooting at you as well. So that's pretty, like, bridge camping on this side is not an easy thing to do. Whereas opposed to bridge camping over here, it's pretty damn easy. I mean, you just set up people here and there's nothing anyone else can really do about it. So that's one thing. Another thing being that if you look at what you have to play, let's see circle 2, or circle 1, just before circle 2 pops. If you look at what we have to play on the northern side, there's really not a lot. Field. Like the potentials of where the circle can go, right? And you have the shacks. These are like last resort places to go. We'll draw them like this. Last resort, last resort. Like this is well, there's nothing else we can play. We're dead. Let's just go there and see what happens. Last resort. Whoops. Last resort and forest. This you can play on this side. Down here, on the other hand, compound, hillsides, hill. Compound, 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 compound. Under the bridge. Not good, but you can play it. Compound, hillside, compound, compound, hillside. There's a lot more to play on this side of the circle, and it's easier to cross into because, as we just talked about, it's hard to bridge camp on this side. Whereas if you're stuck over here and you have to go that direction, easy bridge camps alongside not that much to go to. So what would you rather do now? You would much rather lock down a spot in an area where there isn't that much available and then hope that the circle goes to you and cross into an area, if you have to, where you have an you have a way to get a spot for yourself, instead of going into this area, get a compound where there's plenty of stuff available, and then have to cross over to a practically guaranteed bridge camp into an area where there's nothing available. Does that make sense? Once in the chat if you understood what I just said, because I kind of also confused myself a little, but I think what I tried to say makes sense. Again, you try to set yourself up for the next circle, right? You want to think circles ahead. So why would you commit yourself to an area where you know you can get something anyway in the next circle, even if you have to rotate across? You know there's going to be something for you to play from, and the rotation is not going to be, even it's going to be difficult, don't get me wrong. Rotating on the bridge is never easy. But it's going to be easier than if you were down here, trying to cross up here, into an area where there's nothing left. Everyone's spamming once, you understood it. Good. Thinking circles ahead. Makes you a better player. So, everyone is saying, we would much rather sit up here, having to rotate this way, than sit down here and have to rotate this way. That's why we stay. So when the circle pops, some people were surprised, some people weren't. It went up north, a little more water than I think some might would have wanted. And as you can see, they cross over straight into a camp. Brum, ba-ding, ba-boom, ba-boom. Everyone explodes. I think Kurturgan actually got a pretty... No, it wasn't him. Who was it? There was an etiquette player who got a lot of knocks in that situation. I don't remember exactly who it was, but it was pretty fun. Anyway. And again, as you can see now, it's a difficult area to play. There's really, really not a lot available. And every team trying to rotate in, that's the next thing. If you crash through the middle... Like, you go over the hilltop, you crash in. Where the hell do you go? Like, you're not going to go like this to go like that, right? And you don't have time to do this. Like, this is an impossible rotation at this point. That's just not going to happen. So all these teams coming in either crash something here, try to wrap around, and go down. Because there's not enough time. Because the TSM, they're trying to wrap north around, right? They rotated early. So they were ready for it. They were waiting on the other side of it. They were ready for that. All the other teams have to lock down. I think Diamond Dogs spot Michael pushing up over the hilltop, so they go over. Immediately they go, well, nope, not gonna happen. Let's just turn around and go the other way. They take the fight to TSM to begin with. Oh, actually, they do take the side to them. Do they leave? I don't remember. But Circle, this one is where you can go, okay, people probably didn't expect that. Hey, thank you so much for the sub, man. Can you please, can you repeat that? Which part of it? The whole stream? Thank you so much for the sub, man. Circle goes out east again. And this is where you can go, well, you know that shit that I had to hold in my hand? Yeah, now there's two of them, because this just became like double bad. That was a very weird analogy, but talking about unplayable terrain. Well, no one's going to be down here other than Unity. No one's here. This area right now, you cannot play. You can actually make that even bigger. This area right here, you cannot play. this area right here, you cannot play. This area right here, you cannot play. Are you starting to see what I'm trying to draw? There is really not a lot to play. If you're out here and the hilltop is still in, can't play it. Just like we saw with the inside game situation on Miramar up by Minas. As long as this is in, this is a no-go. As long as this is in, this whole area here is a no-go. As long as this is in, this whole area here is a no-go. I'm not trying to draw this. You can always try and play here. As long as this is in, this whole area here becomes a no-go. As long as this is in, I mean, this whole area is difficult to play from. You know what I mean? So because the big counter areas to the big fields and stuff aren't excluded yet, you really can't play it. Which makes it, I mean, the water, of course, that's just dumb. Don't have to discuss it. Just makes it hard. Feed up, thanks for this. Aw, so nice of you guys to do all the subscriptions. Very nice of you. Thank you, man. So Diamond Dogs, they go, well, what can we do here? I don't even know. Let's just full speed send it, shall we? They probably do like rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper, scissors. Who's gonna do the YOLO play? Okay, you lose. Have fun. Good luck. Lambola just sends it. Everyone comes to follow, and somehow they're allowed to do it. Why? I don't know if it's on purpose or if it was just a very, very fortunate timing, but look at the rotation timings from Exalt and from Diamond Dogs. Monkey is in a car. He's not going to hear the bike. And I think Nailup and Exalt, they were like, okay, we have these two shacks available. We can play from those. Nailup has already locked down one. They have this one available as well. As soon as they hear Lambola start driving, Nailup is going, guys, they're stealing our shacks, and they have to send it immediately. So because Exalt are in vehicles, they can't jump out to shoot. They don't have time to shoot. And Monkey, he has to try. I mean, Nailup has to try and defend Monkey's rotation, right? So he's not gonna have time to shoot at a rotating vehicle either. He has to shoot at people who are shooting at them, which in this specific situation, no one's doing. So all of a sudden, like Diamond Dogs just, I don't know if it's random or if they spotted something, but that is the best timed YOLO rotation of the day, I feel like. Very fortunate timing on that one, because it timed it perfectly with Exalt trying to rotate down, and they actually managed to cut them off too. Exalt, I think, should have been a little faster on that rotation. Inside games, tough situation for them. They're caught in the water. And again, this is still in. You cannot play anything here. There's nothing you can play as long as win streak is on the hillside. As long as there's a team on the hill, you cannot play. No, FaZe already qualified, so they're not playing in this. They qualified by getting top 4 during PGC last year. Everyone, look at the timing, right? Circle is pushing. The blue is pushing forward. And as that's happening, all of a sudden, wait, guys, now the hill is out. All of a sudden, the field becomes viable. As soon as that circle starts shifting, you see it. As soon as the circle starts moving, Blaze, WTSG, Tornado Energy, everybody wants a piece of this little pie, which is inside the circle. You see it? It's all the same timings. As soon as the circle starts pushing and they see Offstring and that bike going downhill, they go, well, now there's no one left on the hill anymore. All of a sudden, this area is now available. Because there's no one on the hillside, now we can play from this field, and they send it. They have to commit to it, right? They need to go down there instantly. And we all saw it yesterday, all the big explosions. The quad nade or triple nade from Iro, we saw them all go down there, just literally torn to pieces. And yeah, that happens. This shift, probably the luckiest shift for WTSG all day. But it works out. I mean, at this point, the field is the field. And again, same thing as before. These shacks can't do anything as long as the hillside is in. It's the exact same thing as on the northern side, just flip-flopped. So because the hillside is still in, you can't do anything. Now that these players are starting to push out, you can start trying to take some control. Udia goes down, gets back up on his feet. Everyone is fighting on the edges because nobody wants to be visible to the guys who have the hard cover. They secure the south. Now that they know there's no one down here, that's when you can start wrapping out. That's when you can start taking control. But this just becomes a stalemate for a while. You see Nail up, pushes up, goes center, takes control. Udyr goes up, takes control. They know they're playing with the back safe, so as long as they pocket their cars, they will have cover. There will be no one behind them. Shift stays back, make sure there's no one sneaky snaking around. Once it's cleared, once it's confirmed there's no one there, they can start pushing further forward and take even more control. Position yourself on the edges to eliminate people coming in. Maintain control on the edge of the circle and go, well, you're not only fighting me anymore, you're also fighting the blue on your back. Puts more pressure on the opponents. March, I believe he actually goes down to the blue. Yep, he does. Gets eliminated. 4v2. Not gonna happen. They know exactly where he is. And look at the control they're taking too. Shift goes center. They know it's final circle anyway. Look at this. Once they get the read on where they are, they go, nah, you ain't getting away from here. We're gonna keep you in this little bubble for Rex. He goes down instantly. Great play by Exalt. Again, the only misplay I think is they should have committed to the shack. Like, they should have been ready to rotate there. When Diamond Dogs went down, they should have been ready to go. But I think their main thing was, we cannot push down and take shack control. Like, if we leave this area, somebody else will go here. Whether it's Unity on foot, whether it's Tornado Energy in vehicles, somebody else will go here. And our entries to our shacks are very much reliant on people from here not shooting at us. So they stay up here for as long as this area is in, not because they really want to play from this area, but because they want to make sure that nobody else can play from that area. Does that make sense? So Udyr and Shift stays up here. Obviously, you want to take some control as well, but they're playing this to make sure no one else gets to play it, because that is like their counter area. That's the area that can really make it difficult to play those shacks, is to have anyone sitting in that area. And also they know that even though Diamond Dogs came down here, we still have 2 shacks available. One is a wooden shack. I believe this is the... No, wait. This is the wooden shack. So this is still available, right? So they do have a spot available in the circle, but stick around to make sure no one else is going there. Really smart play by Exalt. That was game number 4. I hope you guys are enjoying the analysis. I'm trying to keep it somewhat simple, so if it becomes a little too complicated for some of you, then please do not hesitate to ask questions. That's a big portion of why we're doing this. They were, and they saw them leave. That's why they know it's clear, right? Yeah. Taking notes for PMCO. There you go, Maxman. Glad to see you here. Why is no one going Pachinki? Because they like to loot somewhere else? I don't know. I don't think Pachinki is necessarily that good a place to loot. So they just go somewhere else. Gabby, thank you so much for the sub, man. Much appreciated. The 2-month resub. Nice of you. Thank you so much. Really great, informative stream. Said have to leave. No worries, man. No worries. Take care. Take care. Have a good day. Have a good day. Do you know if they plan to bring back PEL next year? I have no clue, Skycold. Absolutely no clue. I do not know anything. No idea. Is it a good place? Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure. But you do have that from many other places too. And if you already have another place that is yours, then why would you contest a team in an area that you're not used to looting yourself? Don't say that just for fun. Don't say that. I'm gonna give you a 1-second timeout for toxicity. We don't say that in here. When is Tomato Games? I don't actually know when Tomato Games are. When are Tomato Games? I'm not sure. Which teams do I think will advance? So before we get into the next game, we discussed this yesterday as well, and because there's no finals, because it's literally just today, or yesterday, today and tomorrow, and there's no, so top 16 of the 24, they now go into a pile and they play. It's a very different format, and also to me means that it's very different when we look at who's going to qualify, because there are teams that kind of sneaky peeky make their way through these type qualifiers, and then they play well in the finals. And then there are teams that are really good in these formats, where you change up the groups every day, and then maybe aren't that good in the final 16. So instead of going which 6 teams do I think will qualify, what I did yesterday was I have 11 teams that I don't think will qualify. And right now it looks like that fits pretty well. So I have 11 teams yesterday before the game started that I said that I don't think will qualify. And what am I trying to say? Yeah, and so then I have 13 teams where no matter how you combine it in terms of who makes it through, I wouldn't really be surprised. If that makes sense. That's my way to look at it, though, or at least because I mean, WTSG, sure, they're great if they get to play all the games, right? Here they only play 2/3 of the games, and if they have a game where they go out with 0 points, that's even more games removed. Like, let's say you have 2 bad games. You have 2 bad games in this tournament. That is 2 games you remove where you didn't really have impact on what's going on. And then you also have 6 games that you didn't even play, but it's still on your leaderboard, right? Because everyone plays their groups against each other. So that will be 8 games out of 18 where you were literally just sitting back, going like this, and hoping that the other teams didn't get points. 8 out of 18 games that all impact your position on the leaderboard. And that is just too much. It's not. I don't want to call it RNG by any means, but that's just too much out of your control for me to determine who's gonna go ahead. So I have 11 teams that I think have an equal chance, or not equal, but good chance of qualifying. I know 11 teams that I think have that I think won't qualify. I think it was That's my list. Anyway, let's hop into game number 5. Next to last game. Very similar circles, but things did change up a little different. Playing pretty decent. Now you can go Milta and Milta Power if you want to. As you can see, TSM immediately down there. No reason for them not to be there. Why? Because this time around, they didn't have to fight for fight other teams for cars. You see? Place goes Shelter. TSM goes here. It makes perfect sense, just like we talked about last game. Yes, Witty, I am. I don't know how it's gonna work, but I am. I'm talking to people. It's all gonna depend, because if GLL goes out next week and say we're gonna make a pro league, then I'm like, okay, fair enough. Then I'm not gonna do anything. But if we're going into a period now where nobody knows when PGS is gonna be, PGS Berlin, no one knows when it's gonna be. Erangel got compound. Yes. I'll get to it. The compound is where D's is. As an example. It's a what the hell, mouse? Stop being stupid. This compound I consider a god compound. Many people do as well. Why? Because it's hard to breach. You have walls around and shit. You have literally a wall like this around that's hard to get to. People that push you will most likely have to push on foot or push down into a dip and up on the other side. And you always have somewhere where you can escape to. You can escape into swamp. You can escape into the forest. You can escape down to the ridge line. Ridge line you can cross down to as well. So it's an area where if you're getting pressured from here, you can always try and back off. If you're getting pressured from here, you can always try and back off. If you're getting pressured from here, you can always try and back off. And it's a good compound because it has good loot as well. Hope that makes sense. That was a little fast rundown. Would you do an invitational? I don't know, Tishy. If it's literally just me doing everything, then I think if we do like multiple groups and I would have to pay people to do adminning stuff, I don't know. I mean, I'm not at all there yet. It's literally just me trying to hear what people think about it. But let's continue so this video doesn't become much too long. Circle pumps. This time around, a lot more military than mainland. Not saying that it can't go north. It can still very easily go up towards the northern side. Let's see though. This is one of those where you expect liquid. Yep, 2 minute 15. Already rotating across. Etiquette. Next to rotate, they go over. Phantom, they read the bridge camp. They don't want to contest. Smart play by them. And then we have the brawl down towards the south with Etiquette and Liquid. I'm not sure exactly how and why this went down the way that it did. But, do we have it? Yes, we do. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Analysis split screen. Whew. Watch this. I just think it's funny. James gets... No, Ibiza gets knocked. EP gets knocked. And here comes James and makes a double drive-by. And now it froze. Now it froze more. God damn it, why does it freeze? Stop freezing! Stop! Oh, my analysis split screen didn't work as well as I thought it was going to. It's having a very hard time. Why do we play it in 720? Does that make it better? It's not 720 at all, but it's okay. Yeah, you all know what happened. Team's got a double drive-by. That was a nice split screen, Toby. Good job. You messed up everything. I'll make it work, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry. I'll make it work someday. Someday, it's going to look super smooth. But yeah, that was pretty impressive double drive-by. That's what I want to say by it. That all happened down here. In the middle of the open, no one knows exactly how or why. It all went the way that it did. So they end up fighting. They get to continue across. Etiquette down to 1, or make it 2 players actually. Free is then. The funny thing was that it looked like to me that it was actually Etiquette that crashed in. It was Liron that crashed into Ibiza. But even though there were only 2 guys there, that's a little paid actors. That was a little tough area to fight through. Circle, you can see people are still committing north, people are committing down south. Where does it go? Boink. Usual, down towards military. Now you still have your crossing opportunity to go over towards nowhere. You can see inside games, actually smart play by them earlier. Watch this. It's a small thing. It's a small thing, but it's a smart play. And it's something that you guys probably missed. Watch this. Inside games land and loot. They know face ain't here. What's the first thing they do when they see this circle? They go, in case it's a military circle, we have to be able to get across fast. So what do? This is in the middle of the loot phase. They take the boat, sail it around, park it, run back up. Just in case. Just in case. They need it. Pixel, are you swimming all the way back? No, he gets up. They now go up on the hillside. They force win streak 15 off. Then now when the circle was committed across, they don't have to go there, take the boat all the way around. Nope, already parked there. Across quickly. It's a small thing. It's a small thing, but this just saved them. This just saved inside games probably 45 seconds. It's a small thing that you guys probably didn't know. Like that those type of things won't get a lot of screen time during the tournaments. But it's a really smart play. What happens after that, I don't care about. It's just like this alone was a very smart play. And that's what I like to see. People that have the right mindset to go out and make smart plays like that. Adepts trying to cross over. There's still a chunk of players outside the circle in the north trying to make their way through. When I saw this, I was immediately thinking like, okay, so this is just like north of Paradise Resort, and WCSG is holding the west side. Like this was a straight up reenactment. When I saw this, I was like, yep, this is just Sanhok. WCSG is gonna get like 16 kills and win the game. It didn't happen quite like that, but almost. Win streak, they're swimming. Still got people up on the northern side trying to hold up each other. Inside games, they went across early. They go, well, you're welcome to push into us if you want to. WGSG holding up. They're just waiting. YMCA is pushing up towards them. That's going to be a fight in the making. Easy peasy. All eliminated. Adepts trying to make their push further forward. They get into the, what do you call it? Into the silo area of the military. And then, of course, the circle. I mean, it could only go so many places. I guess it could have gone a little further south. But it doesn't. TSM trying to make their way across. Blaze are still there. Omagan have T-Bone on the blue as well. They're in boats now. They finally, TSM get a chance to cross over. Unity trying to hold off inside games. Trading 2 for 2. And again, when it comes to these forest fights, it's a little complicated to analyze it from. Like, that's why I wish that we, just like with Counter-Strike and other games, where we could go into the fights. You know, like we could go into the replay file and see it as if it was our own replay, where we can see the fights and like fly around and see the different angles and stuff. Because analyzing fighting situations off of a map stream like this is not always that easy. One play that I do like from TSM, Liquid though, is that they keep EV here to try and contain. Like they want to know that they have this, if they can clear this whole area, they have a like a rotation path up towards the northern side. So they stay. Like they stay to try and play it on that side. Diamond Dog should never have allowed TSM to do that rotation. On the boat? Or what do you mean? Or across once they got in? They do go down. The one after, they die. TSM is dead. I'm not sure what rotation you're talking about. Oh, you mean inside games that crossed over? Usually if we're more on the cliff side. Yeah, they can't see them from there. Send 2 people north. That's dangerous too when you have this circle, because they know. I mean, Exalt have been shooting from up here, right? So they know there's people on the north side. And if you're trying, now there's people crossing over as well. So if you start splitting out and a team decides to run down on you, then you're screwed. And this is again also maybe a situation of a team that not playing scared, because that's the wrong, but they're playing safe rather than taking control. Diamond Dogs, even when we see them on Miramar, where Diamond Dogs usually get the majority of their success, they play a lot of, we will do what you guys allow us to do, and then we'll take the fight later. You know? Like, they never go out and force people away from spots and stuff like that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing not to do. That's just not their playstyle. Had this been WCSG, they would probably have had 2 up here. Like, playing this 2-2. Had it been Liquid, probably they probably wouldn't have been this far on the edge to begin with, but they would probably have played it 2-2. But it's just not their playstyle to go out and do that. And the times where we've seen Diamond Dogs try to do wider splits, they've lost players trying to do it, or something just hasn't really gone their way, and then they go, well, that's just not what we're going to do then. Tornado Energy, 2-way split, you see? Other teams do these things. It's just not, I guess, a Diamond Dogs way of playing these circles. But I agree. I mean, they could have harvested up there, but it also could have gone wrong and could have gone the other way. Sunzy, easy circle. It's just going to throw it in the middle. Again, you want to clear this road, so that's why now, where they were 1 before, they're now 4. Liquid knows, if we allow for a team to sneaky peeky make their way down here, we're going to get screwed. You cannot play this, whatever you called it. What do you guys call this? I call it like the nursery or mini hospital, whatever you call this. You cannot really play this safely if there's a team sitting out here as well, because you have like this whole open area that you would have to cross at some point. Mini hospital, yeah, nursery, kind of the same. So you cannot really play that if there's a team sitting up here, which is why Liquid commits 3 to make sure that this is clear. Makes perfect sense. Keep K-Mite in, make sure no one's pushing towards him, and then you keep this clear so you have a rotation path up and over. Makes perfect sense. The fight escalates on the northern side. WGSG, again, spread out, just like we saw, exact same thing like we saw them on Miramar. Spread out, take control, try and deal with people who are on your side. Now they push out, they go, well, we know there's a 7 team over here, let's take the fight to them. They get 2 knocks. They sprint in, they run them down, old Navi style. They take control. Pixel still alive behind them. For too much longer, I'm not sure. Sneaky snaking his way around. I believe he finds Miracle at some point, but 4v4. Liquid, again, cleared the south side very well. They find Sunsea as well. Once he goes down and Iroh gets knocked, they know this is our chance. This is our chance to push forward. And they do exactly that. They do get the res up. And at this point, I think we have... I mean, look at the kill spread as well. 3, 4, 5, 3. Very, very decent split. James has 5 kills at this point. Very good play by him as well. But 15 kills at this point for WGSG. They've just been clearing edges. And all their fights, pretty much all their fights, have been against teams who shot back at them too. So to think about that, and also the fact that there's still 4 players alive, very difficult thing to pull off, and they managed to do it. They pushed 2 under. This was a fun situation with Xiong and EB, where they were like, one was on the rock, one was under the rock. Looked pretty interesting. Comes to an end. Liquid actually wins it pretty impressively. Ibiza's position there, massive impact. He gets the first knock on Xiong, does damage to Vard as well. Gets the knock on him too, I believe. I don't remember if it was with the nade or if he shot him, but great play by Ibiza. Really good job by EB in that situation. So that's game number 5. One more game to go in today's analysis. Again, thanks for all the subs and all the follows, guys. It truly does mean a lot. Thank you. Very nice of you to be so supportive. It means that I can spend more time doing these things. The nade, yeah. Pixel should have flushed. I think he tried to. But he fell back down behind the hill on the other side. Stever, thanks for the... when was that? I didn't see that, did I? I didn't see that. Thanks so much for the Prime sub 11 minutes ago. I didn't see. Thank you. Much appreciated. Western Plain, pretty straightforward, pretty easy to play where we want to play. TSM, they go, well, this is not a Milta circle. Inside games go, well, this is not a Milta power circle. Let's just play how we want to play. West circle, we don't see them too often. They happen. They're more usual than others, but it's not too often we see these. And of course, rotation paths. You don't want to go through Pochinki, you want to go over highways. No one's gonna bank on the circle going north of the river. Highways, you can split up into multiple directions. Pretty straightforward rotations coming in from here. And there's also already a western circle. So look at how much control Unity has. This should not be allowed. I don't know. I mean, we've gone into a period now where Georgia Pole just isn't that prioritized anymore. You want to be center. You want to be around. You want to be fast on those rotations. And people just don't care so much about Georgia Pole anymore. Also because we have super loot. I mean, or super settings. The looting situation isn't, oh, we need a city in order to like feed 4 players with loot. We need to be all there together in order to get looted up. It's not really the case anymore. The fact that you can have one guy just loot these buildings and he's good to go, that's perfectly fine. That's why we've seen more and more teams not really care too much for those big cities, but already in the looting phase try and do splits that they can maybe then keep for the first couple of circles. It used to be that people loot in an area where they know there's a lot of loot, not really thinking about where they're gonna go, but more of a, we get looted here, we get all the stuff that we need. That's why, way back in the day, everybody wanted to go military, because, that's where all the level 3 vests are, you know? And now it's more of a, let's loot somewhere that we really want to play later on in the game. Or somewhere where we can rotate to where we want to play. This was a little surprising to me, though. Liquid rotates far, surprisingly far. They wanted to go, normally we've seen Liquid want to play here. And I think they wanted to go take the Wizard, but there was etiquette. They get wrapped around, forced way out towards the west coast. Strange split they're forced into. WGSG, 3-way split. I really like this. Again, whenever you do splits, as long as you have an exit strategy. Iroh can always get back up. Gatka, they know is free. Can always rotate as you please. Again, rotate over, swap vehicles, rotate down, communication on point for WGSG. Smart 4-way. Like they're doing a 4-way split, and they're playing aggressive in it as well. And now they know, circle pups. This one is a pretty yikes one, by the way. And they push together. Tricky circle, forcing teams to do weird wonky things, because again, big open field, can't really do a whole lot to play in it unless if you're sitting in the on the antenna. Adepts, they're playing the northern side. Unity sitting split up here as well. TSM, all their players are inside the all the players are inside the hospital. Liquid, whoops, with a 3-way split, and we still have some open areas on the west coast. But I like how they're playing. YMCA as well. Stay down here. Wait for rotations from the south side. Try and see what you can hold off. New circle pups. They actually stay longer than I thought they were going to. I thought YMCA would have taken more control of the yellows, but now they do go. So this, really smart split. Really smart split by YMCA. They have so much control, and it's a leapfrog strat, right? So if Diamond Dogs push up here, Sakura goes boop. If they push further, they go boop. They can go boop. Pretty straightforward. You always have a place that you can disengage to go to your teammates. And you can always push further into the circle together. Team Phantom, split apart. DS is by himself. Blaze have to make their way in, but they're pretty much the only team that isn't already. Let's just see if we missed somebody, though. They're the only ones that aren't really here. Omaken can always push up and try and play here. They decide to go further. No, Page just go in that direction. I like that. I like that. Get some control. New circle pups. It goes in towards or inland, but a lot of it, of course, again, look at this. We have a massive chunk of this circle, which is, as I like to say, unplayable terrain. It's not that you cannot be there, because it is possible to be in that spot. But it's really not a good spot to be in. Hey, Simsy. I don't know what we're plus ones. The fight between Diamond Dogs and YMCA took too long. Hasn't happened yet. Spoilers. Nice drawing. Thank you. I am practically Picasso. Wait, he's the one that cut off his own ear, right? I don't want to be that guy then. Isn't he the one that cut off his own ear? I'm not gonna be that guy. He was strange. He was a strange man. So knowing that we have a center, how big a portion? Okay, if we draw up the center, and we also obviously have we could kind of draw up the beach as well. To be fair, we can do it like this. This in here is a yikes. This out here is a no-go. I mean, yes, don't get me wrong, you can push into the fields, but right now with so many compounds in play and stuff, you just don't really want to be there. You can see already now that this is the only place that we can really play. No one's daring to go into the field. Everyone's fighting around the edges. And where do we go? Straight into the field. The swamp you can play as well, but it's really not that good a place to go either. So we're going from one area to another horrible one. But now, because hospital is out, because, I mean, it's not out, but it's kind of out, you can start playing some areas on this side. Because the majority of Everest is out, you can start playing some areas on this side, as long as you make sure that, that this ain't in. Exalt, they will have plenty of opportunities to go play stuff here. But again, like we saw Exalt do in the last game, of the first Erangel game, they will probably keep players here because they don't want to play that area, but they want to make sure no one else plays the area. Oh, it's Van Gogh. Ah, yeah, that is true. It wasn't Picasso, it was Van Gogh. That's true. And because the second circle shifted north, we still have a massive concentration of players down here that somehow have to make their way north. And how do you rotate? We're in phase 4. Odds are that if you're playing Swamp right now, you left your vehicles down here somewhere, so you're not going to go into the blue and get them. Diamond Dogs, they should have cars, I would assume. Etiquette as well has vehicles. They're probably going to stick around for a circle longer as well. But where do you push? Like, where do you go? If you're YMCA, you can go up and try and play the ridge line, but then you have to push in with compounds on both sides spotting you. If you're Diamond Dogs, there's really only two plays to make here. Either you crash into Swamp, hopefully you can play the ridges, like the ridges here, or you go up and aggress on D's, but there are some trees that make it really difficult to properly scout. Like, it's difficult to scout, as far as I remember, this area properly from the area down here. You can only see so many places. Buster, smart read, love the read. Only, like, he goes over to pick him up to go, nope. They go, we're not playing there. There's going to be people coming, and la-di-di, la-di-da. That's exactly what happens. As soon as they see that vehicle leave, they're all like, yoink! They just want to sprint up and get that position, and it ends up becoming oh yeah, that's what happened. That was the one with like all the smokes and everyone's sitting around in the houses for 16 years. Had this fight come to an end earlier, it would have probably helped out quite a bit for whichever team survived. Because if you can play this area, take control of Swamp, start looking forward, try and see what you can play, maybe get some vision down in the ridge line, this is a really good spot to play from in this circle. Even though you're not exactly in the center, it's a good spot to play. Surprised to see that it seems like Calvin went further. They get the first knock, and I guess at this point well, if Simsi is still here, Simsi, I would love to hear your thought on, I don't know who made the call to send Calvin further instead of clearing it immediately. Maybe with the first knock coming in, like who gets the knock? Okay, so Calvin gets the knock on Coyote. I don't know how to say it. And then you up to play the ridge line and send Calvin further to... Is he trying to contain here? I'm not sure. If Simsi is still here, I would love to hear what he has to say. Because it's always really nice to get into the minds of the players. I saw he was in the chat just before. Maybe they're practicing and scrimming, getting ready for the tournaments. Because they are starting, as you guys are saying, in an hour. But the fight here escalates. It takes a while to finish it up. Oops. The swamp area becomes less and less, which makes perfect sense. Etiquette try to make their way out from there. And now, as you can see, because Exalt knows there's no one here, because they literally played from there, they can now play this side without being shot in the back. They can now push out and play this because the two counterpoints to this position aren't in anymore. And also, they were the ones playing there, so they know it's safe. They can go up and play that ridge line. Unity, push further forward, try and take some control. T-Bone tries to hold from the edge, he goes down. TSM eliminated. Exalt, again, clear your edges. Clear your edges. Once you have that locked down, you can start trying to maybe swarm up towards Phantom. Liquid, forced to leave. Not really forced, but they kind of are, because the compound is going to be out, and they go, well, we got to get something. If we stay here, Inside Games is just going to take a hay bale each, and they'll just sit and shoot at us. So we need to do something, and we need to do it now. They get one knock over towards Inside Games. They make the push accordingly. EB stays behind, tries to get the high ground vision. When they get a player knock, they push out to help. Circle hard shifts down to Swamp. That's a yikes. So this is just like, this is all just individual fights happening. This one's going on. This one is still going on. Somehow this fight has not come to an end yet. Again, I don't know if it's Diamond Dogs. That's why I wanted to hear from Simsy. Same situation on military before, when you guys were saying, oh, but why didn't Diamond Dogs go up and hold off people on the beach? They're just, I don't know, they despite having really, really good fragging power on the team, they're not that aggressive a team. That's why I would like to hear from Simsy how, like, what the play was all along. But YMCA, they end up surviving for a while at least. Calvin forced to chill. Katurgan doing the exact same thing. They push out. Calvin goes down. YMCA holding above. The solo snakes get the better of Liquid. Tornado Energy forced to push around against 7. In the meantime, Exalt, they're just chilling on the top with Furax. So a lot of sneaky snakes making this game hell for a lot of different teams. Turbo Banani pushing out, trying to stay alive with the circle closing in. And look at the control. Again, this is a repeat of the Erangel game. They're sitting on half the circle with vision downhill. They know that everyone is on the other side, except for the fact that Furax is still up here, but they don't know that he's there. So they're playing this as if they know that the remaining players are on the south side. And they have all the vision in the world. They go, well, this is the last circle. We'll just wait for you guys to come to us. This road right here is going to be impossible to cross, unless if you throw like 16 billion smokes, or unless if Nailup goes down. Shiv is there to help, though. Finds one more. Finds a third, I believe, as well. Yes, finds 2. Nailup, great shooting there. Third kill comes in from Shiv. GG, well played. Exalt, pretty damn good game for them. 15 kills. And again, look, going back and seeing it how they fought through it. It's the way that they split early. It's the way that they take control. They're keeping their splits. As long as it's not punished, why not maintain that split? They push in. They don't need a sender, because, as we said, there's really not a whole lot to play in the center of this circle, right? So they push forward. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady. Now they know we have this cleared, because there's no one here. We can play this one step at a time. It's going to get you all the way to the end of it. And yeah, that's day 1. Easy for salt. You need to have an egg next to it, you know? Egg and salt. That would be the good one. But yeah, that was day number 1. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in, and see you